So you have a list of the names of various characters within the Metal Gear universe. Uh, Metal Gear loves to do its nicknames, so just to give you some reminders, you've got nicknames of the quality of Sniper Wolf, Vamp, The Pain, Raging Raven, Screaming Mantis, Solid Snake, The Boss, Psycho Mantis, Batman. And what I want from you is I want you to give me your Metal Gear nickname using the template that I provided for you.
Yeah.
And then give me the associated power, slash, and or gimmick.
You know, I've never been good with nicknames, but can I just say that I would be Caustic Soda, because A, that's what I am everywhere, and it seems to fit. And
I like it.
my associate would be that I'm just like super snarky about everything, like, right? That's my thing. I'm just like the super bitch, right?
Hey, I think that's great. If that's the snarky super bitch, then I'm in.
Alright, great. What about you, Tony?
Oh man, I think I would be, you know how there's Octocons, right?
Yeah.
Or Otacons?
Yeah.
I would be Yowicon.
Okay.
from Yaoi, the anime.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Kissing thing.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure that was clear. Guess I'm just setting something up here. Like I said, they love their nicknames, and I would say they're not super great, but let's go with Caustic Soda for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, hi, what's your name?
I'm Lauren, and you are?
Oh, hi, I'm Tony. Well, we're the two gamers.
Today, we're gaming together to get one trophy in Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
Look at that. Intro was easy. We did it.
Done.
Alright, so you're getting into the cutscenes. Everything's looking good.
Am I supposed to be doing something at this point, or am I just like watching credits?
Yeah, you see, there's a certain amount of interactivity, but the game will indicate it with a controller in the top right-hand corner.
That's what I noticed.
But honestly, it really felt like we needed to add some interactivity to what's otherwise just a long movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, what's your experience with Metal Gear previous to this?
Literally zero. I have watched other people play bits and pieces of previous Metal Gear games, but I have not myself played any of them.
Okay. I'm a little bit more experienced in the Metal Gear universe. I've played every main game in the series, and while I want to give you a backstory so you to go into this understanding what's going on, the series is incredibly confusing. The timeline is complicated, and so there's no way I would be able to do it within a 2 to 3 hour video. So I'm going to give you information that you need to know in order to get past these first couple of scenes, okay?
Okay, sure. Sounds good.
Okay, so the chronology of this game is that it's the 5th game in the series, as far as canonically where it fits. You're playing as the character Big Boss, who ends up being the primary antagonist in Metal Gear, the very first in the series.
Okay.
Previously, you were on a mission in the events of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, which was a PS Plus exclusive from June of 2015.
V has come too.
In the finale of that game, which is really well recorded, this game, and I highly recommend it. Snake, otherwise known as
V
is down
has
in a
come
helicopter
too.
crash due to a bomb, and your base of operations, known as Mother Base, is destroyed by a paramilitary force known as XOF. The organization that you run, Militaire Sans Frontières, is clearly crippled, and your life hangs in the balance, which explains the operating medical room that you're in.
Okay. sure.
Did you play any of Ground Zeroes?
No, I told you I've not played any of them.
Wow, because Ground Zeroes, it's clearly one of the missions that this game has. So the game goes to put it in a mission format. You complete a certain number of objectives, you move on to the next story point. Ground Zeroes is essentially the first one.
Okay.
And they separated it out. It was a bit of a controversial decision at the time because previously they had been doing these prologues within the main game. And it felt like Hideo Kojima, the developer and writer of the game, maybe was trying to milk a little bit extra money as opposed to making it into the whole game.
Look up, please.
So while you go through the tutorial here, where he's really just kind of walking you through camera movement.
Yeah.
How do you feel now?
Some statistics.
Can you speak?
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid 5 is an action-adventure stealth game.
What is your name?
Kojima Productions, produced
When
by
were
Konami
you
Digital
born?
Entertainment, and directed
Can you
by
recall?
Hideo Kojima. Famously, the relationship between Hideo and Konami ended controversially before the release of this game, prompting Konami to remove all references of Kojima from the marketing and packaging of this game. Any future involvement between Hideo and Metal Gear, despite reassurances to the contract from Konami, is now unlikely. Sadly, this is also likely to be the last good Metal Gear game, as Konami seems to be investing heavily in the slot machine Plinko world, and dropping fan-hero projects like Silent Hills, which you may have played as the PT demo on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Your name in here is another element of the Metal Gear series in which they try and add interactivity to the players
Please
of the game.
try to relax.
In ways that sometimes break the fourth wall, or otherwise make you
I need to
elevate
tell
the
you
plot.
something.
So it's nice to see that.
Please listen and try not to panic. You've been in a coma for quite some time. Yes, I know. You would like to know how long.
So this game was
I'm
released
afraid
worldwide
it's
on September
been
1st, 2015, and it is the 15th major installment in the series.
Damn it!
That depends on how you count that.
Calm down. Calm down. Try not to panic.
It's the ninth story in the series, and
Try not to
directed by Hideo. But even with only counting these 9,
You'll be all right.
The plot and timeline, it's complicated. Hideo really loves kind of selling on these action elements, selling plot twists, to the point that
How do you feel?
you really kind of embrace the absurdity of a lot of the elements of this game than any other game or any other universe would be unplayed.
It's been 1 week since you came to. Now, let's try getting you out of that bed. Nurse. Don't worry. You've lost some strength, but we've been maintaining your muscle mass through massages, CPM therapy, and EMS.
So they've been giving me massages
Now,
while I've been in
I
a coma.
need to explain something to you, but you must be
You know, it does sound a little odd, doesn't it?
Yeah.
9 years ago, you were injured in an explosion. Upon examination, we discovered 108 foreign bodies embedded within you. In addition to shrapnel, we also found fragments of human bone and human teeth.
What?
Most of it was removed,
Yeah.
but some of the fragments still remain. They are located near your heart and in your skull. Look at this. The fragments are lodged deep within your cerebral cortex. We couldn't give you an MRI, the metal, you see. But even if we were to extract it, you would most likely suffer a brain hemorrhage. Mental and physical impairment are unavoidable. However, your current status is not life-threatening. One more thing. This X-ray is on your upper body.
What the hell, man? What happened to
You
me?
better look now. Best to understand your situation sooner than later.
You're acting like you haven't been
I
woken
know
up
it's
from a
difficult,
coma 9 years
but
later,
please
filled
look
with
down.
random pieces of metal
It's
and
best to
holes in
see
your
with
body.
your own eyes.
I mean, just the one.
Be brave.
That's what I'm saying. It's a universal experience.
Yeah, everyone can relate. Oh my god, I don't have an eye.
No, Sakoma! Grigor! Try to calm down! Calm
Took them a
down!
while to realize.
Calm down! It's
Yeah, I
gonna be
feel like
okay.
that would be something that I would pretty quickly do.
Yes,
Unless you have a
Calm
serious
down.
case of phantom limb. Wait. The game.
I love it. I do want to say that the game is called Phantom Pain, but that's
Yeah.
an excellent segue to the conceit of our show, because you'll be going after the bronze trophy called Phantom Limb.
Oh, that's fun.
So, this episode is going to be what I call a
it's true.
targeted
There are those
trophy,
who wish you would never
which
walk
means
in.
you're going to be going for the specific trophy, Phantom Limb.
You
It'll
should be dead,
trigger when we complete
but you're
the
not.
Phantom Limb.
The wheels are in
mission.
motion.
Mm-hmm.
Your
And
enemies are
even
everywhere.
though
You must alter your appearance immediately.
PS4.com it's a 90.
Otherwise, I fear you won't leave this place
I
alive.
still worry about it being a bit overzealous. of
It's a
us,
wide
but I
Okay.
have faith in you.
All
So
right.
there's something we need to take care of first.
Probably misplaced, but
Of course, we're playing this game today as it is easily the most anticipated.
I'm going to
Nintendo
change your
PS Plus
appearance.
Freebie.
We have no other choice.
yeah, for sure.
What you
They
look
have
like,
been
however,
killing it lately with these games. They've been releasing AAA titles month after month for at least the past 5 months. So
Mm-hmm.
this is an exciting game for you to be playing.
Yeah, it feels like they've maybe because oh man, I have to customize.
Yeah.
Me, I'll just whatever.
Well, it took me. I was here at this screen for 20 minutes because I love designing characters.
I know you do.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe
Now, when you design a character and you get a choice, do you typically design someone if you can? Obviously, well, you can't do it if you're only designing a male character.
right.
But do you typically design yourself, or do you design some idealized image, or?
Oh yeah, it's like if I were actually cool, that's how I design my character. Like if I were well, you know, in what's that, Dragon Age Inquisition?
Yeah.
I played as a female elf, and she had the hairstyle with like the shaved side and like, you know, all the hair on the one side. And that was before I cut my hair like that. And then I cut my hair like that. So, you know.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. But
No,
she looked,
I do the same thing.
yeah.
I designed myself, so my character, of course, was a very muscular black man. So that's what I do as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly you. Perfect.
So the hope is that by the time you've achieved the trophy,
Uh-huh.
you will have played enough of the game to get a good feel of the experience and gameplay, and you'll be able to give an informed decision on whether this game is worth the download space and the space that it would otherwise take up in our busy lives.
Yeah, because this game takes up a lot of space, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's certainly a disk sync at 25.1 gigabytes just for the main game. It could mean some hard decisions if you're only using the PlayStation's base console space.
I'm pretty sure it was 27 gigs plus another 2 gigs plus another like 700 megs. It was crazy. This game is 30 gigabytes, and
Yeah, it's impressive. It's got an online component, a lot of updates. It's a commitment.
yeah. Oh my god, there are so many ways to change the way this guy looks.
I get stuck in the same thing. Yeah, when I was doing Fallout 4, I didn't get anywhere in that game because I spent so much time designing my character and designing my wife. I just sucked into it.
Yeah.
For no payout. I mean, most of the time we're looking at the back of their head.
Right? That's a little ridiculous. Yeah, because in that game, again, I'm a very, very casual gamer. I've played Fallout. I played Fallout 4 with you, I think, for like 2 seconds. And that was the only experience I have with Fallout aside from Fallout Shelter on my phone. But it feels like even in the scenes where you're talking with people in that game, you don't see the character's face. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I mean, you can spin the camera around, but it's not a major component.
Right. Eye slant. Wait, you can change the color of his eyes separately?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna make them the same though, because it's freaky when they're not.
So have you heard your character speak yet?
No.
Okay. Well, this is a tiny bit spoilery, but your character is played by Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, well, he was in the credits.
He also was in Ground Zeroes, the prologue to this game.
Oh, yeah?
And he was a controversial choice, as previously in all the various incarnations in which this character has been voiced, he was played by a voice actor by the name of David Hayter, who was well beloved until his replacement. Apparently he was not asked to come back, and most likely Sutherland was chosen in order to separate the character's voice from the main series. And probably because, he's famous for being in TV and movies, including the most direct comparable role, Jack Bauer in 24.
Uh-huh.
Needless to say, fans did not like his replacement.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, from his time in Ground Zeroes, I think he did fine. It was his voice certainly matches. It just, it's shocking to not have David Hayter play the voice.
Yeah. Well, and when did this? I wonder when this game was being made, because wasn't there a voice actor strike? And I wonder if that had anything to do with him not being asked to come back.
Sure. This game was being developed between 2011 until 2014.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly the details of the voice actor strike, but...
Yeah, of course we'll never know all the behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
from interviews that David Hayter made, he indicated that he would have loved to come back to the role.
Huh.
And he was not asked.
Interesting.
So you make that as what you will.
You guys, whoever is watching this, I apologize, but I'm just fucking around with how this dude looks, and you have to deal with it.
So is this, I don't know, a male version of you?
No, this is I'm just playing around now. I don't know what I'm doing.
I gotta say that these games have made me appreciate all the little things that make a human face.
Yeah. Seriously, now when you look at like human people, you're like, well, your chin position is off a little bit.
I see you have a little bit of horizontal draw cookedness. Yeah, I can't say that this pays off in a big way either, so,
I'm good. Oh man, I can have this tattoo on my face. Just like...
Now, the customization is interesting because this game is the most open world out of any of the Metal Gear games.
Okay.
So for them to have a character design in which it lends towards these open world role playing type games, it's an interesting kind of clear statement that this is going to be a bit of a departure from the rest of the series.
All right, I'm done. I made my dude.
Done. How did he get that scar? He's just so badass.
I mean, he had 108 pieces of things that weren't him in him. So, I imagine that's where it came from.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Now, let's remove these bandages. Your face has healed nicely. To tell you the truth, these bandages were more for your protection. To hide you from those who want you dead. As of today, your name is Ahab. Forget everything. Your name, your past.
Okay. Your nurse. Turn around. Turn. And again, his heart rate goes up. I love it.
Yeah. Turning off a little violence against women.
Well, I feel like it's violence against everyone in these games.
This is you, as you've lived until
By
this
a
day.
woman.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, it becomes...
It's always the case, though. Women on women violence is the worst.
I like this shot.
I keep thinking how great this sequence would be in VR.
Whoop. Oh, yeah.
Not yet. The patient in the next bed saw my face.
I mean, I don't really have much or any experience with VR, I guess, so I can't really speak to that, but I imagine it's pretty intense.
Again, as there are.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably at least one other person that has combat shooting. I'd like to point out that I don't know how long it's been since we started playing, but I've done exactly 2 things, which was give my character a name and birth date, and give him a face. And it's been cutscene after cutscene. Oh, I moved the camera a little bit, I suppose.
But this two actions added some emotional depth to the scene.
Sure. Yeah.
Knowing that his birthday could be coming.
Well, I don't think he's gonna die by her hands.
Yeah, I'd say she's out of the count.
Oh, I have a hook. I have a hook for a hand.
Okay, have time to go.
Oh, is that why they call him Ahab?
What happened to the woman?
I think it's a cute reference.
Yeah.
We gave her a light. She took the short way down. Who are you?
Metal Gear does not lack for its extremely esoteric references, for its on-point historical references. As you'll see later, this game very much takes place in an international foreign relations landscape that's interesting the way they use it.
On your feet, soldier. The whole place is coming down. Need a little pick-me-up? Okay. Here. No. Nothing like a little digoxin to get you back in the game. Come on! Can you keep up?
I find this intro
Drug's not working.
ballsy.
We're getting out of here. Move it. Let's take the stairs.
Take the stairs? Do you expect me to slide down them?
So it shouldn't be shocking, I think, to most players of the Metal Gear series to see our character like this. He has certainly been seen as a bit of a superhero previously. I mean, he's got nicknames: the greatest warrior of the 20th century, the legendary soldier, the legendary mercenary. It's shocking to see him this down and out.
Interesting. See, and I don't understand any of that history because this is the first one I've played, so it's good that I have you, Tony.
Glad to be here. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history to kind of explain who is Big Boss. This game takes place in 1984, but we were first introduced chronologically to this character in 1964.
Okay.
In a mission called Snake Eater, a really fun James Bond from the 60s-esque type game. They were playing a lot of those tropes. It's a lot of fun. At that time, he was part of a renowned Special Forces operative mercenary group called Foxhound. He was the founder of that U.S. Army group.
Oh, okay.
He then later founded a military company, the one called Militaires Sans Frontières, that got blown up before the events of this game.
Okay.
And he goes on to found the Patriots, which are the antagonists of the later games.
Okay.
It's well established that you're playing who turns out to be the villain of the future games.
Sure.
A lot of these prequels are setting up that this man, Big Boss, is the ones that created a lot of the military companies that are later being brought down by Solid Snake. You probably these two.
Something's coming.
The reason that this character is that his genetic code was used to create future versions of this character. It also explains why he was poisoned by the same guy.
That makes sense.
So you're probably noticing the game is taking a bit of a supernatural turn.
Yeah, I was wondering what was up with that.
Is that, what are your first reactions to that?
I was a little freaked out by it. I think it's cool, but if it's not like the usual...
It is the usual. Characters, have fun, fight them based on whatever, their particular power is. But the game started relying much heavier on the supernatural elements as it went on. Some people didn't like that as much. They liked it when the game attempted to be a bit more technological in its explanations, but I think that this game goes a bit over the edge with Spider-Man.
I had no idea that they had supernatural elements in the game.
Yeah. It's an interesting blend between real-world foreign affairs, nuclear disarmament, warfare, and, you know, psychic systems.
Yeah.
Villains who can withstand, you know, weaponry that will kill anyone else.
Huh.
I like how it adds to the scene. You know, our character, of course, is really pathetic here.
Yeah.
But it just adds the element of, you're really not going to get out of the situation.
Yeah, there's sort of like a, feels very dire. Like, this, it's almost horror-esque while I'm playing here, like.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. It does remind me, too, of his demo PT, which was supposed to be a demo for Silent Hills. It certainly does have a very in-your-face kind of classic horror style.
Right, yeah.
Hold up, let's fix this.
Especially with like the color changes, like all the red that keeps popping up. Yeah, it's freaky.
Yeah.
Next time,
the sound effects that you're hearing, the beeping noise that it keeps up for a heartbeat, they're actually the same sound effects that were used for low health in previous games. So there's a nice blend of this kind of real life setting of guns and stuff with the video game elements of low health and not seeing
Yeah, I didn't even really think about that. There isn't a HUD.
Let's go.
I would say that this prologue is a bit different from the rest of the game. You'll see the difference once you start to get into the chapters.
Okay.
But this is a stark introduction to this game, and it does make you feel like it's a sharp departure from the rest of the series.
Get down.
I will say that these prequel games that take place with this character, Big Boss, as opposed to the later games with Solid Snake, had a bit of a HUD problem because you had games that took place in the mid 90s to late 2000 and 15, 18 or so. That they had no problem with very futuristic HUD. It could be very easily explained that these are cybernetics.
Right.
But these early games took place in the 60s through 80s. You had a bigger problem. You had to design something that made sense with games.
Sure, that makes sense.
Not a children's game.
No. Definitely no.
How do you do with ultra-violence media? Is it off-putting to you? Are you pretty desensitized to it, or give me your?
I don't mind it in video games. Which is weird because I hate it in movies. Like any sort of like torture porn type movies, just like they're the worst. Even when I saw Kill Bill for the first time, I was just like, dear Lord, is this necessary? And even in Kill Bill, it's like exaggerated and campy, but it's just like, yeah, I just didn't really, I don't know, I didn't really enjoy that. But in video games, I don't know, it doesn't bother me for whatever reason.
It's an astute comparison because Hideo Kojima has mentioned Quentin Tarantino as one of his influences in designing, directing his games.
Sure, I could definitely do that.
As well as Guillermo del Toro. who was a collaborator with him when they were still working on those projects. So definitely a lot of horror elements, and they do it to great effect here. I think this is a great prologue.
Yeah, this is really creepy. Thank you for not preparing me for this.
You know, and I wonder how much of this was potentially influenced because this is October and this is PS Plus.
Oh, sure.
Halloween type, you know.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the game that PT was a demo for got canceled. Is that correct?
Yeah, that would have been Silent Hills, and because of the breakup between Hideo Kojima and Konami, that game is done. There is no hope for it being released. Certainly not in any recognizable form.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone loved that demo, and even I played it, and I personally hate horror things.
Yeah. Yeah, and controversially, Konami removed the demo from the PlayStation Store. You can't even re-download it if you had quote-unquote purchased the demo, which, as far as I know, is the first time that's happened. So people who have PT still installed in their units, consider doing whatever you can to keep it there, because
Don't you die on me.
So I got a bit confused as well at this. The game is not indicating to push the touchpad in order to get cover. The touchpad is to give you the hint as to how to get into cover.
Right.
So what you actually need to do is really run against the wall. The wall,
Don't get caught,
will automatically get in cover.
I see. I mean, I knew that pressing the touchpad was to get to the, you know, the menu screen or the tip, but I read it and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. That second sound effect you heard when the helicopter spotted you in the spotlight, that kind of noise, that's also from, it's a classic noise from the Metal Gear series, in which previously an enemy saw you and an exclamation point would appear over their head as an alert. Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm familiar with that just from watching other people.
But nice to see it used here in a more subtle way. I liked it. It's hard not to get an outlast.
Go!
I played that game for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a hard one to get through if you're not really prepared for some of
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
The level design is great with this prologue. It really uses kind of in-game actions without cutting the cutscenes to get you to experience the story.
It's ugly down there. Turn back. This way. I'm Agricola. Come on.
I get confused about other people in the hospital. Why are they helping?
What's happening out there?
It's all right. We'll be okay.
I can't see what's
My guess is that all of the patients in this hospital, who are really unrelated to why you're there, are just genuinely confused as to why the hospital is being attacked by the use of military force. And you're sort of blending in with the otherwise unrelated NPCs, who I'm sure will be fine.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure we'll be okay.
Hey.
Hey!
Hey.
I can't see what's happening.
What is that? What's happening out there? Does anybody know?
Hey!
Like pushing my way from the crowd.
You don't like how rude it is?
No, it's just like what's up there.
really visceral now.
Wait, I'm behind the curtains.
They don't think it's behind the curtain.
One negative that I wanted to point out was the times already in the prologue at this point that I had experienced some minor graphical glitches of characters flipping through objects. And normally that's not something that would bother me. But in this game, when you have the camera so tight on the first-person POV, to have that kind of a thing occur, it's off-putting, and I really feel that there should have more of a focus on either tightening your engine during the prologue, because I don't think it's excusable in this section.
Yeah. Man, that's freaky.
So I'd say at this point,
Negative.
if you have previously played this game, you probably are expecting this group of individuals who are killing everybody to be part of the paramilitary organization XOF that previously tried to kill you 9 years ago.
This way. This way. We're sitting ducks. Blend in with the bodies. Get down on your stomach and crawl. If you move, we're done for. Play dead. Freeze. Don't move.
How you feel? Pretty tense, or?
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm like, I'm very obviously breathing. Like, stop breathing. Why are they so awkward? I gotta say, this game looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not only cinematic, Are you clear on what's happening there?
Yes, yes, yes. I see what's happening.
Okay. I want to point out, because I actually want to talk about that. That juvenile kind of play with pissing yourself with a lot of ass shots, which you probably noticed a couple times by now. A lot of breast shots when we get to see some women. That's also a big component of the video game games. And it's not been without controversy. Particularly this game, there's one character, Quiet, in which there are a lot of really kind of close-up. Really off, yeah, it was off-putting people about that. It's not use that obvious way. And sit on the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if they were just that, I would have actually enjoyed it. Not only is that a callback to some of the moments, but also it adds attention to the scene. But as you can see, it's just one of the things that happens.
It's not supernatural person. It's not part of the.
That's common in the other games as well. Like you'll have some military forces, commonplace, part of the country, maybe a and then you'll have some other team, special team, separate, have their own agenda, natural, and it's a bit formulaic, but it's also kind of fun to see who they throw at you. How are you going to get through it? They often take a lot of effort by genetics or scientific accident, and I kind of wish they wouldn't bother because it's so over the top that if you were a fan of, say, Pokemon, you would have immediately known, oh, fire monster? I get some water in here.
Gotta get the water.
Hold on. We better stop and treat that injury.
Feels like
Take the stairs down.
it feels like Resident Evil.
Yeah. Like the control scheme, or
So yeah, and like the yeah. I mean, I haven't played a Resident Evil game since like 2, but this feels like that.
yeah, I can see what you're saying. When you bump into the character more, you kind of bounce that. It's almost this unnatural. I guess difficulty in character motion. That's very risky.
Yeah, like why? Okay. Like when you bump into someone in real life, you don't automatically like ricochet off of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it also feels maybe a little bit like the game just the engine can't handle the two models in the same place.
Yeah,
So it
right.
kind of untactfully shoves you back. I
Yeah.
agree. It's this whole time.
Hold down the aim
You haven't
button.
had a gun. This is the first, like, the game's so slow on the tutorial. I mean, it's dramatic, it's very cinematic, I'm enjoying it. The fact that you were down, what, and how long have you been playing? An hour in, and you're now getting what is essentially the main thrust of this game, which is shooting.
Yeah.
Don't be so reckless. Knock it off, you're gonna get killed.
See, and I want to take cover here, but he's standing there, and I can't because I can't take cover where he's standing.
Yeah. Ultimately, your, like you call it, clone is not going to be able to handle this, so you're going to have to kill him yourself.
Yeah. Or, you know, shoot the wrong person.
Time paradox is another thing that is time paradox is such a huge hint to this game, and it's shocking. I don't. In previous games, in which there was a prequel to a future game, and you were met with a character that could not be killed. It would make no sense for this character to be dead because they were in a future game. So clearly they were like, if you went out of your way to kill that character, even when the game kind of it wasn't the goal. The goal was really not to kill the character, but if you went ahead and did it, the game would end and the game over, and it would give you a time paradox ending. And it was cute. It even had trophies associated with it in other games. Kind of to indicate, you know, you can't do this because it doesn't make sense for you to do that.
Yeah.
Hold on. So for them to do that with the other sub-level character being a time paradox, it's frankly a huge hint that this character is important, is somebody who sticks around in a future game.
Calm down. You can do this. Nice work. Let's go.
And I bet that astute gamers would really, at that point, be, you know, oh wow, what could that mean? Who could this be? Now, you knowing that this guy has the same voice as you, do you have any current theories as to what's going on, who this person is?
No, I don't know anything. I'm just trying to not die here. I have no idea. I mean, maybe if I like knew more about, you know, this.
Yeah, I didn't know. I actually got spoiled a little bit after the gameplay in finding out more of the story of this. And I won't go into it because this is wrong. But they do the classic RPG with twists about this game, clearly.
I'll run interference.
I have a thing with eyes, actually. I don't know if I told you this before. Let the internet know. Eye, the image,
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, No. Oh, you got shot this many times. It's like your character doesn't react to it. Getting shot one time probably be super traumatic for a normal person.
Yeah, any number of times. What does that do?
What do you think your objective is right now?
I think I'm supposed to shoot these guys, you know?
Yeah, you know, that's what I thought. You're ground, shot, ammo, it's Secret Sutherland was basically telling you the key to extract them or you run to the exit. But that cutscene wasn't clear enough.
Well, so where's the exit? Oh, here. No, I, because of the delay, I was there when I said here. You just didn't see me. I'm in the cutscene now.
Another good reason why it's interesting to see what elements you get stuck on because you know sometimes stuck on too.
Yeah. But also, he didn't do a very good job of that. He did like 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden, I was going to be shot.
Yeah, no, agreed. What would you say the ratio of cutscenes?
It's about 55 cutscenes. And or higher. So, it's not really been all that thrilling.
Yeah, a lot of it also is, you know, it's not interactive. It's not, you can't even run around. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And on their own, they're not bad. It's like extreme more than 50% starting to become this is less game and more movie.
Yeah, this is definitely like, what else is this? Oh, I can't fly. Oh, I'm on fire now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, generally I would avoid being lit on fire.
Well, it's too late. Am I supposed to be
Yeah, for this one, I feel like you really just needed to avoid him for a certain amount of time. You brought him up the stairs. Because, I didn't really get a clear sense of what to do. Got to the exit. And yeah, the game just doesn't do a good job of kind of saying that the exit everywhere.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I tried to exit first, and then I was like, wait, I can't capture it. And then I was like, well, I knew there was a door on the other side, so I tried going over there, and then I was like, wait, what? And then I tried, and I was just like, let me run to this other side. And then running back to the other side, I triggered the cutscene, and I was like, I didn't even do anything.
And, you know, the game doesn't have to walk with your hand onto the things. The fact that the program games don't, you know, give you an
Right.
But, and so that you can add to a sense of challenge about what you can do. But when your simple accomplishment is, you feel like, oh,
yeah. one thing I did. You know, like what, like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit about other Metal Gear games. There's three character called Psycho. Maybe related another kind of Psycho. In your battle with this character, he has to in the end, action. And it's frustrating to like as you die and fight this guy, it becomes obvious when he starts giving you hints in character that he's controlling the controller. He's controlling the input. Which ends up being unplugging the controller and plugging it into a different slot.
Oh my gosh, really?
It's just, yeah, it's an amazing solution that again, the gamers now giving it to you. But it's also incredible. So proud of yourself when you figure it out.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I would be so angry. I would be like, what? Like, all I have to do is move this from here to there. That'd be one of those things where, like, I would be Googling, like, how the hell do I beat this guy? And then I would feel like a complete fucking moron. And it was just like, yeah, just unplug it and plug it to the other one. What?
Well, when that game came out, it wasn't as common to be able to Google something. It was kind of the beginning of the age of really key facts and things. So, yeah, and that was a lot of fun. There was another example of this in which you had like a radio, you had to call me and stuff. One of the characters mentioned, oh, call me, and on the radio. Saying something on the back of the CD case. And in the game, you have a CD, and so you're spending all this time trying to find the case, trying to look at the CD, and the solution ends up being physically on the CD. There just happens to be like an image of somebody calling on the radio with the number displayed.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of that kind of great people. Yeah.
Oh, here's an opportunity to like let them interact with it, because that seems more like, I don't know, that seems more interactive than the occasion when it's like the little controller pops up on the screen and you like tilt your controller or whatever, like push the, it's like yeah, I could just literally like move the joystick to control this car and it would be super easy. And like,
yeah, I think it's just a problem of there being two separate designs. There's a design team for the cinematics, and there's a design team for gameplay.
Yeah.
Certainly in the prologue, one out.
Yeah.
Okay, so also, there's a thing in today's superhero movies, and this might be an old man dance, but when your character gets thrown around so much that I have gone past my point of suspension of disbelief. this point, I'm like, your character is dead. They're dead. There's no way that they have survived all of these things.
But I also feel like he had 108 pieces of shrapnel in his body. So maybe I could use that a little bit. But is that
a whale? The fire whale, yeah.
The fire, is that like a firewall, but like the whale? Okay, what? Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I would say he jumped the shark at this point.
Yeah.
Jumped the whale.
He jumped the whale, and then like the unicorn Pegasus on fire with the people around.
Do you understand what I'm saying? This relied really heavily on supernatural elements that were like, huh?
Yeah, I get it. Hurry! And this guy's like the Witcher.
Hurry!
Yeah, he does look like a Witcher, though he is a very important character in the current one.
Yeah, he looks familiar when I saw him.
I'll wait to do the games.
Use this! Watch our backs! Shoot him!
You know, after the fight, he's replacing horse.
Yeah. It was like one of the horses that was popular.
There. Watch for an opening!
As far as I know,
Careful, they got us slow to reload!
as far as like a mechanic that so that was fun, you know, blood horses and fun and staggering.
Horses and the boat from Assassin's Creed 4 are like the only vehicle features I'm okay with.
Interesting. People don't like the boat.
No, they don't like the boat features in Assassin's Creed 3 or 2. It's 4 is the pirate one. Like, they are
Black flags, yeah.
Yeah. So they like, and they improved the mechanics of the boat in that one. So they were trying to do the boat in the beginning of the boat sequence.
You get him? We shook him off.
So there's the other thing in video games, this trope, where it requires you to do something interactive. Shotgun and stuff something like that, but in which case you find out at the end of it that I'm not sure that my actions actually need to be connected.
Oh yeah, no, I the whole time I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Like, this isn't helping
And I think that you're supposed to feel kind of this impending, oh, no, shoot, oh my gosh. But instead, I really feel like you just process why they're doing this.
Yeah.
Penalized for not pushing the button enough times.
Right. Yeah, like if I stop hitting him, is something gonna change in this scene at the end? Like, no, I'm still gonna whatever fall off the horse or
Yeah. And I think there's bad game design. I think that if you don't, this game is doing a really bad job at keeping the player having a reason to play this versus just watching these movies.
Yes, I am very like if I was just playing this game, I would probably have skipped all of those cutscenes. Like I would have just been like, "Yo, like let me play," and then I would have been really disappointed because all of the playing in that prologue was like few and far between, and I would have skipped all the story to like see that all the time. Which didn't even matter. Like,
yeah, I don't think it did. I agree with you. I don't think it mattered at all. So, what did you think of the prologue part?
Okay. I thought it was hella scary, and I think it's still hella scary because Billy Jack is always die. But it was interesting, and I liked that it was like a tutorial as well. You know, like this fight is done, this fight is covered. But also, like, I don't really think I got enough story. Maybe it's just because I don't know the backstory of, like, this. But isn't a prologue meant to be where you, like, explain what the shit is happening? Like, oh, hey, here's a setup for what's coming. But this is just like, oh, I guess maybe it does set up what's coming, but I just don't understand enough of it now. I don't know.
No, I agree with you. I don't think that this worked as a tutorial level, because as you're going to see, they've introduced to you 1% of the mechanics of the
A certain man gave me a job to do. Two, actually. First was to get you out of that hospital.
So as you go, you learn more?
Was to rescue the man himself.
You learn nothing. In the first chapter is when you really start to learn the mechanics of this game.
So,
and the first chapter is so different than this.
Your
like,
partner,
the rest
9
of the
years
game
ago,
does not
Kazuhita Miller.
The next chapter
9 years
not
back,
have
your
this
private
whole-
army came under
and it's a
attack
totally
by
different
Cypher.
vibe.
You were considered dead.
So, like,
The day that is
what
when
was the point
Cypher
of it
found
then?
you.
Because
It's not
I
just
didn't
that.
do
I think
anything.
The whole world wants you
And-
dead.
Like, they could have just made one cutscene that explained all of that, and been like, hey, there's some crazy chick in
You'll
a
have to
straight
join
jacket
up
and a
with
guy
Miller.
on fire,
Build that
and some
private army of
paramilitary
yours
terror
one more
organization
time.
is coming after you.
It's your
And you've been in a
only
coma
chance.
for like 3 weeks, or however long. And now you gotta fight
9
these
years.
dudes. Like, oh yeah, 9 years. It said 3 weeks later on the screen at one point, so that's 3 weeks. But, yeah, honestly,
First, we need to save Miller.
if the whole
He's in
game
Afghanistan.
was in that style,
Afghanistan.
then I could understand it. But you're telling me the rest of the game, or at least the next part, is entirely different.
What, you can't keep up with world
From my
affairs in a
impression,
coma?
yeah, the majority of the rest of the game is much more.
4
open
years
world,
ago,
it's
the
much more
Soviets invaded
stealth,
Afghanistan.
Mission
The
with
Muslims
fight
fighting
scenes that
back
are
with
reminiscent
Western
of the
Miller was training Mujahideen rebels when he was captured by
not
the
in the type
Soviets.
of sort of visceral horror.
The Red's
this
40th
production
Army.
that you did. And
Troop
Yeah.
strength
it's a
somewhere
bit,
around 100,000.
It's a bit, like I said in the beginning, it's a bit ballsy for them to do.
Squad
a very
holding
long
Miller set
promo
off near the
of
Pakistan
this
border
caliber,
yesterday.
because it really feels like
3 days
one
they'll
movie
reach
that
the
I just
Soviet
watched that
garrison.
got me
He'll be
in.
interrogated for a few more days,
Huh. I wonder if
off to a lobby.
the creator
or
of
left
the
to
game
rot in a ditch on Afghan
just had
soil.
like this, yeah, just had this like
I give him
horror
2
itch he
weeks.
needed to scratch. Because from what I understand,
The job didn't mean
there was a
anything.
long gap between the Silent Hill
We only
games,
took it on to keep
and
you
then
safe.
like Silent Hills got canceled anyway. But like, you know, maybe he just hadn't made a horror thing in a while, and he was like, let me
Well,
just make
there's
this
our
like
ride.
scary part. And
It's a whaling ship.
Yeah,
Got a pretty good deal on her once the IWC started
I
raising
don't
the
believe that he'd
stake.
ever done a horror.
There's 7 days to port Kassim.
And
Oh,
he was
okay.
slated
3
to sort of
overland.
direct Silent Hills,
we won't have
despite
much
not
time
having
once we're
began
there.
previously.
Oh,
But
see,
people
I
were
assumed-
excited to
Don't take too long getting used to
I
your
just
new
assumed that he
self.
was the one that had done all
Hang
the
on.
Silent Hill games. I didn't really know.
Yeah, no, it's fine. He did a great job. Clearly, he can do very well with horror. I think you're
Yeah.
right. I think he was almost kind of showing his chops, being able to do something like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was great if like, maybe it doesn't belong on this game, you know, it was,
Yeah.
if it was part of a game where that was the entire style of the game, or the whole thing was like a horror, like, escape thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it just felt like it was way too much movie and not enough playing, and way too much gore maybe, or I don't know, horror, or just I was tense. I
So
was tense
much
the whole
of-
time.
Yeah. Yeah. So much of this is cutscene. When we get done with giving you your trophy, you're going to realize that you've actually played very little.
And it's funny because we started playing this like an hour ago, and
Yeah.
like I've literally played for maybe 10 minutes max.
You've certainly had no agency. You've not been able to control what your character does or where they go. I guess a little bit in the fight sequence, but, you know.
Yeah,
Really
but
to no
even then
point.
it felt very on the rails, you know, like I could only go so many places, and it was very like, you know, I went up one time and it was like, no, 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 you're supposed to go down, you know, because it showed me the other guy getting killed. Like, oh yeah, okay. You know, like, I don't know. Crawling on the ground, I could only go in certain directions. Like, I couldn't veer to the left. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, and in this cutscene, you know, we're being introduced to, okay, you've got a horse, you've lost your hook arm, you now have a mechanical arm that, as far as I can tell, really is just, you have an arm now. It doesn't serve any purpose other than he do want you to have a hook. You get your, what appears to be a Sony Walkman that will serve as the hub for the game. And you're going to get some more tutorials about how to physically explore this world.
Phantom Limb.
So here's the mission. This is what you're going to get your trophy for. This could take forever.
Yeah.
Or it could take no time at all.
Huh.
So at any point that you need instruction from me how to do this at a quicker pace, you let me know, because I had to also like really get the ins and outs of this mission. Because it's open world, you can really just walk and explore and do your own thing.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I typically enjoy games like that, where like you have options to what to do, and it's not very like bam, bam, bam.
Miller's been captive for 10 days.
This is what you do next.
Not much time left.
You know, Assassin's Creed is like that, and Mass Effect, where you can just fly to whatever planet, or even Kingdom Hearts to a certain extent is like, okay, where do you want to go next? So I do enjoy games that play that way. So hopefully this is...
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of, because we've been talking about a lot of these cutscenes, so I'm going to give you a little bit as to who these people are, what's going on. You should notice that it just said starring Punished Venom Snake.
Yeah.
That's a new name for Snake. Snake typically has one nickname going. So this character, as far as you know, has always been referred to as Snake or Naked Snake, and then later got the moniker Big Boss as sort of a hint that he becomes the antagonist in Nintendo era games, in which you play a Solid Snake, his genetic son.
After 9 years on Earth,
so for them to rename him here seems to be a hint that
of the
this
Soviet
character
main
has
ground
changed in some fundamental way. And I'm going to go ahead and give you your big spoiler because you're not going to feel
be the perfect
one. You were not playing the same character. I do want to pause and say I'm loving the in-game advertising for the sunglasses.
Yeah, right.
That's so ridiculous. You're playing as
being held in
somebody who received plastic
Check
surgery
its location now.
to look like Big Boss.
Okay.
And what you did in the beginning of the game,
you see Wandy on the map? That's where they're keeping Miller. Only problem is we don't know his exact
did get that
location.
surgery,
Finding
and
it
that
is
is
the
Big
first
Boss.
priority.
Okay.
So later on in the game, you'll encounter the character that you created.
Go ahead and
that
close
is
the eye.
the antagonist.
Got your
That's
binoculars?
Big Boss.
Or should I say your int scope? See the village? Straight ahead? A little to the
So
left.
you're playing essentially as a body.
To the right.
You're playing as
To the
like
right.
a decoy.
A little to the
a
left.
fake Big Boss. You just don't know it because you sound exactly the same, you look the same, but that entire sequence where you created the character, which seems to be for no reason because you're playing as the same looking guy, did have a reason
right.
that is what the character will look like in the future.
Have you spotted the village? Zoom in closer. A little to the left. All right.
So the
that's
Keeper
the
Sutherland clone
village.
that was helping you out that entire time,
more information.
that was the real Big Boss.
I'll tell you anything I can about it.
So, you'll want to zoom into the building.
Yeah,
Go ahead. R1. Yeah.
I'm there.
Look directly at the village and press the call button. That's Violo Village. The Violo Calais. The villagers fled the war and evacuated a while back.
Since then, it's become a base with the Soviets' 40th Army.
A few days ago, Miller was taken through there, en route towards Dewandehar. You may be able to pick up the trail there. It's worth a shot. Put a marker on it so you don't lose track of where it is.
Good.
So
Now you won't have to worry about getting lost
is
along the way.
blinking a light at you. Things to the
You
left.
can't have much left in him.
No,
I give him
I'm
3
good.
days
You got it.
tops.
I'm good.
If we fail, and he dies, we lose our chance of revenge. But we need more intel. If you just go charging into Dewandehar, you'll be putting both your lives at risk. See what you can find out first. The Soviets have other outposts, not just the one you saw. Afghanistan is a big place. I expect you'll become quite familiar with those binoculars as you plan your next move. How and where you make it, well, that's up to you. From here on out, you're on your own. You're a legend in the eyes of those who live on the battlefield. That's why you have to handle this mission yourself. Put those 9 years behind you, and return as Big Boss. That's how Koss would want it. I'll be sending additional intel by radio. Stay sharp. Not one of Miller's bodyguards survived. And they were good. All we found on the scene were their corpses and knees. He'll be missing them. And you're his only hope of getting them back.
More Sunrise's product.
Now go! Let the legend come back to life.
Alright. Doing the thing now.
Finally, you got some gameplay.
Finally, I can just do it.
The character that you were talking with, Wilmer Ocelot, is incredibly important to the series. He's the only character to have met and interacted in a significant way with every iteration of Snake, including this imposter. So, he's probably the most important character there is. I'm loving you've already decided what the most important aspects of this game
This is how I play. This is what I do in Skyrim too. I run around. Not Skyrim. Yeah, Skyrim.
Guard post.
Run around, just kill the
They're
animals.
bound to be guards. Take a look with your binoculars.
Can I just say,
The enemy in the center of your field of view.
I'm so freaking excited for Skyrim VR.
That's the thing. That's what they're doing. They're doing that.
Yeah, they're coming out with a VR version of Skyrim.
I didn't know that.
Sight, sound, keep all your enemy senses in mind.
We're gonna have to
When
cancel
you're
the
near
show
enemies,
because
stay
I'm
low
gonna
and
live
move
in the world
slowly.
of Skyrim. I'm gonna live in Skyrim, and that'll just be my life. And people will ask, and they'll be, oh, I don't know, he's the Mage of Winterfell or something, and that'll be my life.
Really, I can like. Well, okay.
Yeah, the game is really broken up into these discrete stories. Each mission even has its own, end credits. It's really interesting the way that he designed this, not as one complete story, but as these different narratives that tell a larger story. Almost like episodes,
Yeah.
And there were rumors that there were many more missions or episodes to be included in this game that were removed because of the breakup of the they were found. Files that were found that are still in the game, dialogue, sound things that indicate that possibly there was
You're almost at the enemy
more
outpost.
open-ended
Little
story
village.
that's being told.
The village is crawling with enemy soldiers. Don't just go waltzing in. Start with some recon. Is there anywhere that overlooks the village?
Yeah.
Data mining of games is like a huge thing now. People go in and they like try to find like even on Overwatch, they're like, hey, I found this voice line that like indicates backstory stuff.
Anytime you need advice, just give me a call.
And it's like, well, if the game designers wanted us to know that already, they would have let us know that already. You know what I mean? Like, it's hidden for a reason, right?
Yeah, I would assume that most people don't consider that to be canon, do they?
It's up to you whether to slip by enemies or take them
In the
down.
Overwatch example.
Just remember that
Like
any
hidden voice
situation
lines?
can change fast.
Yeah, I would
Familiarize
assume that
yourself
they
with
do.
your weapons and items while you can.
Because oftentimes
You
the
need to
voice
be able
lines
to
are
switch
already
between them
recorded for
quickly
like
to meet
future
any
things.
threat.
They just haven't been released yet. And so like, they're meant to be in-game, they just aren't there yet.
Hiding on horseback
Because sometimes they're
sight
the
even
equivalent
while
of
on
deleted
the
scenes in which a
It's
developer
effective for
decided
avoiding
you know
enemy
this
guard
doesn't work,
posts and long-range
but
reconnaissance
it's way too
patrols.
expensive or prohibitive to remove something and then risk a bug because you removed the thing, so we'll just disable access to it. That also can happen.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I watch a lot of YouTube videos, things like that, of data mining games or speedrunning games or glitches in games, and people discover all kinds of things, like interesting mechanics that you wouldn't normally see, or like this thing, deleted or otherwise hidden content. And it's interesting how each community treats it differently. Some people will be like, oh, this explains all this, and we're treating this as like, you know, canon, and others who will argue that it's not.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really read
Is that
much.
your natural way of riding a horse?
Yep. I'm supposed to be hiding. They told me to hide. It's gotta be killer on your
wouldn't it be
side,
suspicious of a horse just running around this level?
Especially a horse that has a saddle on it.
I just don't think it's very good method of remaining it.
That's marking. Focus on a thread and it'll be marked automatically. You can mark enemies and vehicles by zooming in with your binoculars or camera. Once they're marked, you'll also see their positions on the map.
Okay, that's good to know.
A parabolic antenna. There could be intel files of some kind in there.
You know,
So
they
your
have...
ultimate mission here. Go ahead, please.
No, please tell me, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Your ultimate mission here is you're trying to locate your lost comrade, Kaz Miller, who's a pretty significant part of the previous game. He was kind of second-hand man, and he also becomes a bit of a mentor/antagonist in future games. So in order to do so, the game is suggesting you do is to go to this village, which is the first marker that you laid down, I believe labeled B on your hub, and find a document that indicates more precisely where Kaz is being hidden. You can skip this agenda and just go straight to the yellow marked item in the hopes that you can find him just by exploring all the buildings. I think that your best bet would be to find the document and go to him. But you're going to have to do so with the so that's okay. Really, what I can tell, the game just requires you to just get in and out as quickly as possible. If you don't want to do this stuff, you can. You don't have the option to stealth. I would say go in there and get to the mark.
The suppressor's no longer effective.
You know what they haven't
There
told
should
me
be
how to
command
do?
posts somewhere. See any buildings with tighter security? If there
No.
are clues to Miller's
Get off the
whereabouts, I
port.
bet you can find them in there.
Yeah, it's the triangle way.
Oh, okay.
I think you went off kind of a deep path a bit. The game has a bit more of a tutorial section in how to disarm the enemies and how to knock them out, how to get on.
But I'm in the place they told me to go. Like, I don't...
Yeah, but it's like a road you can take, but you got distracted by a goat, so I think you kind of messed up the game's path. I like your attitude. Yeah, but it will go, so worth it. I think you're being covered by the wall. You can't shoot.
Yeah, but like, it says that when you're shooting from cover, it helps you out. So I don't understand why you wouldn't.
I think that mechanic is reserved for peeking to the left and the right. But I agree with you. It's, they could do a better job of this. They could have spent more time in the prologue explaining these elements.
Those materials are already processed. They should come in handy sooner or later. Why not start gathering them?
I believe you're in the right building.
That's a rough diamond.
You get upstairs.
Good
If you go out the
find.
door,
It'll fetch a high price.
there's an outside staircase. As you can tell, the game has a cycle, which goes into draw distance. It's interesting, it's interesting.
I don't know where the staircase is that you were telling me to go.
If you were to go back in the courtyard and look a bit to your right, I think you would see it flush against the wall.
Don't leave bodies out in the open. Find some place to drop them out of sight.
Yeah, it's there, it's up. I believe you got the headshot trophy, by the way. So I want to point out that the conflict that you're currently involved in, the Soviet, so they take over Afghanistan. Of course, it's a real-life conflict that happened in the 80s. So it's nice that they went for some accuracy in the setting here.
So you picked up an intel file. Now we know where Miller is. I'm marking it on your iDroid.
Okay, so now your yellow icon has been updated with a quick location, and as soon as you get away from enemy fire, you can call your horse, so you can get there pretty fast. All of these minerals and diamonds that you're picking up are being sent back to another element of the game called Mother Base, in which you'll be able to develop it, get more resources, do R&D for better guns. So it's a bit of a grind, and once you get on your way, I'm going to talk a little about trophies and what that entails.
How do I call the horse?
Okay, you're going to click on the L1 button, I believe, and it'll pull up a menu.
Oh.
And then you'll highlight the right, and you'll click down on the R3 stick.
Wow, that's really...
Click into it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but like, they could have made that a lot more intuitive.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, so at the cover of night, you have murdered, I don't know, 60 people or something. So no one is going to tell them the exact. Shall we talk trophies?
Sure.
From PSNprofile.com, this game has 43 trophies. 1 platinum, 2 gold, 13 silver, 27 bronze, worth a total of 1,155 points. 2 of those trophies are multiplayer, one of which is silver, one of which is bronze. 2 of those were referred to as grind trophies. They're trophies in which you have to consistently do something over and over again, either walking a long distance or collecting another thing. In this instance, those 2 trophies are related to the minerals and diamonds that you're collecting. They represent a large time sink as far as the trophy collecting. And there are 3 collectible trophies: getting all the tapes, getting all the documents, completing all the missions, that kind of thing.
Okay.
In total, you're expected to get a new trophy. You need 130 hours.
But it doesn't make me, yeah, it's kind of frustrating because I had accidentally gotten closer to them than that, and they didn't see me, and then I was like back further, and they were like, oh wait, there's a dude.
Taking the scenic route? That's not the way to one day. Check its location on your iDroid.
I like the, were you gonna say iDroid?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. I was gonna say the same thing. It's just a nice way of doing it without dedicating yourself to Apple Android thing.
Yeah.
So how would you compare this gameplay to the prologue?
It's entirely different. Well, the prologue had like 0 gameplay, so like, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of frustrated by it because they don't explain how to do anything, and like, I don't know, it's kind of annoying. Like, I'm not familiar with these games. I think they expect you to have played, you know, Metal Gear before, obviously because it's like the 5th one or whatever, so like, you know, I imagine they expect people to be at least a little bit familiar with these things, but of course I'm not, so it's like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a sharp departure from the open world thing. The only thing that would prepare you for this is if you played Ground Zeroes, and even then, that was tiny in scope to what you're experiencing. You had no horse, so those mechanics are completely new. And you're right, there's not a clear tutorial unless you're going to follow that pre-scripted path. And even then, it's just, you know, you have to kind of luck upon doing this. I don't understand how they can have an entire prologue, only give you a tutorial on how to move the camera, and not do any of this. I agree with you. It is frustrating.
And it's kind of like, okay, you said that there's a pre-scripted path, but it's because it's so open world, I have to expect that people are going to go do their own thing. Like, why would you, why? Like, oh yeah, you're going to tell me how to be stealthy if I follow this one road into the one place that you just told me not to follow the road into.
But they're not giving the all clear just yet.
Yeah,
Stay alert.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not just that, it's the, you know, the tightness of the prologue makes you feel is so sharply contrasted with the openness of this, you know, the open-ended. It really feels like, what game are we playing?
Yeah, because that was very much like a, oh, there's one way for you to go, and if you don't go there, you, like, bounce off of everything. And this is like, oh, just go wherever. As long as you get to the place you're meant to be at, it's cool.
Yeah, it's a bit of a culture shock, almost, in the differences between the two things. And I don't know how much of that was an overt decision they were trying to make to contrast the two, but you certainly can't do that mechanically. That's a mistake to do that to your gamers. To establish one set of rules and then abandon them after the first hour and a half.
Yeah, it's like an entirely different game.
So I don't think you alerted the town. I think you alerted the outpost outside of the town. So I think you're hidden in the town still.
Yeah.
As long as you can find that.
Well, I'm still stuck.
And at some point, we'll want to abandon the horse.
Well, yeah.
What's going to happen is you're going to get the trophy, and then of course we'll talk a little bit more about it. We'll let the cutscenes continue. But you'll notice that there's an entirely another element of gameplay that will occur after that, which means that you'll have played this game for about 3.5 hours and still be getting introduced to concepts that are core concepts to the game.
I mean, it kind of feels like, I don't know, we'll talk about it. It just feels like this is not, like I know these games are long, I know they're in depth, and but this feels like, it feels like they went out of their way to make the first part of it like a certain type of game style that is just does not correlate with the rest of the game at all.
Yeah.
And it's
I think that's right.
And I don't know if maybe they thought that people were like getting bored of Metal Gear games, or I don't know
You've
what.
reached one day. They've got Miller locked up in that town. Check your iDroid for his location. I hope to hell he's alright.
Yeah, these prequel games of the Big Boss have been more rural-based, you know, previously in the jungle. So this is not so completely out of the norm to be in this more open space. And Hideo made comments basically that he wanted more of an open field to represent sort of the vastness of the battlefield. But I don't think that it excels. I think that these games are better in tighter environments in which you're in tight corridors. I feel that works better for a stealth-based game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I wonder if they like took a page from Assassin's Creed, because in those games there are specific stealth missions where it's very open world. The games are totally open world, but there are very specific missions where it's like, okay, now you have to be stealthy and kill this guy without anyone noticing. But that's not the whole game. that's not the whole game, and it's like very specific, like, and they give you like it's very obvious where you go to hide. You know, it's very obvious where the places are where you need to, you know, like where the opportunities are to jump out at people and stuff. But I feel like in here the mechanics for like taking cover or like hiding on my horse, there are so many different things that these buttons do, and I'm just like, you haven't told me really how to do any of them, and now I'm just like, alright, well I guess I'll try to find cover. And now I'm already not great at stealth, but they haven't really told me how to be stealthy, and they're expecting me to get in wherever this guy is and rescue him without being shot. Like, maybe show me more of how I do that?
Yeah, it's not tightly designed. I agree. So, the building will be pretty clearly marked. You're really going to go inside the building and then you'll go upstairs inside the building. Do your best to avoid
That's a type of
guards. It's
medicinal
nighttime,
plant.
so you should
Bring it back
do
to
pretty
base.
well. But
It's sure to
the
be
guards
useful
react not only
sometime.
to your physical presence as far as they can see you, but they react to sound. So the faster you move, the further distance they'll hear you.
Right.
You know, it's a crapshoot. If they notice you, if you get caught, my advice would be don't panic. Run into the building, get your guy by holding the circle button, say when you've been collecting diamonds, and get out. Obviously, if you can make it inside the building without getting spotted, then it would be a deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I've only...
If you hold on the analog, if you hold down, you can switch to a tranquilizer gun, which is silent.
I'm gonna try to not have to use my gun.
Okay.
I know there's a guy over there that I didn't mark.
You currently have a bionic arm attached. You might want to switch to the pistol if you want the gun.
I don't know.
Oh, that's good. Going either way.
Can you see what that guy back there does?
Don't believe there's anybody inside the building.
Well, you're wrong. me.
It's a me, Mario.
It's a me with the other arm missing.
Casa, it's me.
Luigi, our games have gotten very dark.
Snake. They do something to your eyes?
Another eye injury. I hate it.
No,
You know, you're very lucky. You don't wear glasses, do you? You don't need glasses?
No.
Yeah.
And I could never do contacts. I couldn't touch
Really?
my eyeball like that.
You can't touch your eyeball? Oh, I can.
No, it would make... No, I didn't want to think about it. It bothers me.
Sometimes they do it just cause. Like, oh, I can touch my eyeball?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's so freaky to me.
What took you so long?
He's like, I'm awesome now.
We'll talk, but not here.
That's right. Badass plus 10. I want to point out that there's a certain distance you have to have right now because guards are actively trying to kill you. But, you know, not
Secure
getting
the target. I'll send the chopper to get you out. Make your way to the RV.
Okay, so just go to the chat. So I should go through maps. 332 I was thinking far enough out of town so that I was going to chase him.
If you come all
Okay, I
this way
just dropped
just
the
to kill
juice.
him,
How do I... Okay. What, like... What the hell?
You can run by pushing down on the left stick.
I mean, I'm carrying a dude, so it's not gonna really make that much of a difference. Yeah, but like when I fell off the side of the building just now, I'm like hanging there, and they didn't tell me how to get down. I don't know what buttons I'm pushing. Like, they haven't instructed me on how to like just do the basic mechanics of this game.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a bad spend. I would call you a horse when you get a chance because you're gonna need it.
I just ran by him.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. It's called a horse.
I don't remember how to do that.
This is Pequod!
L1.
On station at LZ! Ahab, do you read me? This is Pequod. There's a gas covering the LZ. We can't land. Pulling back.
They can't land, but can they drop down like a friggin' ladder or like a basket or something? Come on.
They don't get paid very well. So. Oh no, it's like totally foggy. We're gonna go. Also, Bob hasn't taken a break for 4 hours, so we're gonna go.
Okay, this is fucking freaky and I don't like it. No, this is worse than that. This is like...
Boss,
no,
watch
Yeah, this
out.
is why I want you to have the horse.
Don't let
because
him
you need
find
to
us.
Nope the hell out of here. Like,
whatever that
right
mist
past
is,
it.
it's all
Where
around
is
you.
he?
No
We
problem.
can't see through it.
He should be
Change
coming.
the RV
That's
so
not
it's
all I'm
outside the
getting.
mist.
Okay.
Get over there. The chopper will be
It's the
waiting.
queen, yeah.
Yeah, I see it. What? You know, you should just be able to push just one button to get on the horse. You shouldn't have to put your dude up and then...
You're leaving the mission area. You're not giving up,
I
are
love it. I
you?
love that you're like, you're annoyed. You should be. It is annoying.
Where am I supposed to
Okay, so
go?
you're gonna want to head towards the green. The circle. The circle. The one that's counting down close to 1,000.
Run, boss. Got to lose him.
find you move faster if you just constantly mutter under your breath, move.
I don't even have anything bad. And it's annoying because the horse slows down occasionally. So if I press the button to go faster, why would the horse possibly slow down? Unless I direct him.
Yeah. Just in motion. Just stay in motion.
This is Pequot. Have arrived at LZ. We'll stand by.
The mist is clear.
Okay, so the immediate
Looks like
threat is
they're
cleared.
gone.
Head to the,
Those things.
landing
That's
site
the
for
unit that attacked us, man. They came at us real fast in the same kind of mist. Our men, survivors from 9 years ago, were wiped out in minutes.
Put them in.
But it's them. No mistake.
Obstruction at the LZ preventing me from landing.
Oh my god, the horse took the guy. Stop it, horse. How do I...
No!
My god.
I love how annoyed you are with the logistics.
It's so stupid. That's like the dumbest mechanic. Like, if I'm carrying a dude, he should just, if I push the button to get on the horse, they should just put the guy on the horse. Right?
Yeah. So when you're actually ready to go, you want to back up. Yeah, back it off. You want to back up.
Okay, but like, then
Yeah, that's
but like, just put me onto the other side of the, oh, alright. Thank goodness that trophy's done. Dear Lord.
Congratulations, you've done the conceit of the show.
We got the one trophy!
The Phantom Limb has been achieved. You've completed episode 1. You now have some of the mechanics of the game. There's a whole nother set of things that you're really not going to see. I mean, you'll get some hints in the cutscene past these credits that they do. But it's time to talk about the game. It's time for decision time.
Okay. Well, I mean, you obviously know I'm very frustrated by it.
I was going to say you sound enthused.
I just,
But,
you know,
yeah.
like, any other type of, like, adventure game like that, or, like, you know,
Some operation we had,
Assassin's Creed, Mass Effect, whatever.
9 years ago.
You go in and they tell you how to do
Carving
the
out
things
our
that you
world.
need to do, and if it's not obvious,
Making our
it's
own
like,
future.
oh, by the way, here's this thing.
Took it away.
I just... and it was like, what was that game that we were playing that they were like, oh, by the way, this is how you do that thing that you're trying to do. Which game was that?
You're pretty vague on that description.
Well, there was the game that, one of the last 4 games that we played.
Together.
Okay.
We were,
was it
whatever.
Infamous?
Call home.
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like maybe it was Infamous. You were like, how do I do this thing? And then like after you like putz around with it, it was like, oh, here's how you do that.
Slinking
But here it
around.
doesn't even get to the, it doesn't like,
Picking up whatever kind of dirty
like when
money
I was
we
trying
could
to
find.
jump off that ledge because I was like
name it.
dangling from it, I'm like, what the
We
fuck
did
button
it.
do I push? And it, like I was just like,
You see this?
but like I pushed a different button to try to
Diamond
do it,
dogs.
and it took the instruction off the screen on how to actually do it. It was like, what?
Yeah.
And then it didn't put it back on until I stopped moving, and I was like, well, you couldn't just leave that there the whole time. You obviously know what I'm trying to do. I don't know.
You're right. Yeah, previous games used what's called a codec, which is like a radio system that you can call and get advice about gameplay and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can do the same here, but the advice is randomized. It's usually not super contextual, so you're right. The game does do a great job of either hand-holding you through how these controls work in the beginning, or making it so that the track is a bit linear during the section so that you get, you know, a progressively more difficult or more clear set of instructions. And it does neither.
I feel like the prologue had ample opportunity to not be like a horror movie, a horror game prologue, and to actually teach you the mechanics of the game while you were on the rails part of the game before you get to the open world. Instead, it tried way too hard to be pretty and like, you know, there's a lot of noise going on over there. I don't know what's...
I really needed... I'm so stressed from this game. I needed a cracker. You're watching currently cutscenes from the first Metal Gear Ground Zero.
But yeah, like, I'm actually really disappointed by this game because...
Yeah.
I was, you know, I've never played a Metal Gear. I didn't really know what to expect. I've watched people play. The ones that I've seen, like the parts of things that I've seen, yes, I knew there were a lot of cutscenes. But I also just remember it being like, oh, I'm going to hide in a box and shoot at a guy. Like, but here it felt very much like that, the part that I did just now with like the going through the towns and like trying to avoid the people and then like stealthing my way to the guy that I was trying to rescue. It felt like a Battlefield game, or like, you know, like go through the, try not to get shot while you're trying to do the thing, and like,
The body I've lost.
I don't know, man.
The comrades I've lost.
I think Battlefield is a perfect example.
Stop hurting.
Yeah.
Hideo said that he gets influences from Grand Theft Auto and how he wants to be in the world.
Okay.
And I can see that as well.
Yeah. I mean, that I can understand, and it was very open, and there was just like...
And I was the parasite below, feeding off Zero's power.
So the map, like the heads up when you go in the map and you set a marker, I couldn't figure out, like, I went in there and it didn't tell me how to remove my markers. So then I had all these markers on the screen, and I'm like, I know I'm not meant to be going to these other ones, but it's very distracting.
No, you're right. You're right. The game doesn't...
Keeps growing.
It's not only that it assumes, because the previous games don't use the same hub mechanics, so you're completely right. It's frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows how big now?
That mission for me took me 4.5 hours.
Really?
It really did. And then once I realized all the mistakes that I was making, trying to get through, how do I even do the things that I want to do, I said to myself, that's why I said this thing, I said, Lauren can do this as long as I'm there to, like, guide her. Otherwise, this is going to take way too long.
Do you know how long that would have taken me if you weren't instructing me? I'd be here 3 days from now still doing that part, because I just, like, I would try to do the stealth and I would continue to die, and then I would, because I'm not great at stealth, and then, like, I would just have to keep doing it over, because in my mind I'd be like, well, I need to do the stealth, like that's the point of this, right? But with you saying, like, just run through, just escape, like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I get that. But yeah, I would still be trying to do it the stealth way.
Well, the game, I mean, the game is open world in the sense as well that it rewards different game styles. It actually judges you based on stealth, pacifist, you alert a lot of people. You know, there are different things that it kind of rewards and points you get. So it's supposed to encourage you to play the mission in a different style, play it again. But as far as just getting through this experience, because of that, it doesn't, it's like, do whatever, try to figure it out. Some things will work, some things won't. You won't feel a sense of accomplishment, like in the prologue, you'll just feel like, finally, I figured it out.
The world calls for wet work.
Yeah.
And we answer.
And I mean, maybe I'd feel differently if I had been following the story more closely, or like cared about the story at this point. Maybe I'd be willing to put up with whatever this game mechanics are. But yeah, I'm severely disappointed.
Yeah. Well, certainly the gameplay, I mean, this is an element of Metal Gear. It's very confusing. It requires you to have a significant amount of backstory to know who these characters are. You know, just the fact that I was explaining to you that this guy isn't even Big Boss, like, you listened to my entire thing and you were like, I don't get it. And I don't, you should not get it. It is incredibly confusing for somebody who's really into it.
Dogs at war for 9 whole years.
And you know what? I feel like that shouldn't...
That ends today.
I wonder if it's purposely dense.
No, you're
Like
not
they just
sleeping.
don't want you to understand
We're
what's
not
happening for
Junkyard
some
House.
reason. I don't get that. Like you want these people.
Like as a way to distract from the weaker elements.
Perhaps, or just
Let
to
them
like
talk.
keep you intrigued, to keep you coming back. To be like, oh well, maybe they'll explain it in the next one. Like maybe I'll like finally
You can build the
understand
army that can
in the
do
next
it.
game.
Just one
Yeah.
cause.
Yeah.
It's a little close there. It was
We're
like,
fighting
oh,
for the
that's
future.
you're in kissing distance right there. Yeah, I agree with you. I also found myself having to remind myself of the previous games just
Yeah.
to be like, okay, what's happening here? And then
Yeah.
when I got past that barrier, I really felt like, okay, but unless I'm looking up a guide how to accomplish this, it's actually not a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I think, like, just as a comparison, I know I've been talking about Assassin's Creed a lot, but that's a game that I'm familiar with. I've played those games a lot. I understand those games.
Right.
And so,
Boss, there's
It's
something
fair
I want to talk
comparison, it's an
about.
open world.
Concerns
well,
with
yeah,
running
and
the mother
I
base.
just feel like
Come
in
meet
those games, like, it's a little more forgiving with, like I was saying, the stealth. Like, eventually, like, you can see where you're meant to hide. You can tell where the places are where you're supposed to, like,
Boss,
pop out and
come
kill the
meet
dude. And if you don't figure it out right away, it's not that big of a deal. Like, there's not really, like, I don't know. This just feels like, maybe because of the intensity of this game, it feels like,
Boss, come meet with me.
like, if I don't do the stealth right, like, I don't know, it just feels like there's, like, I know it's probably just you restarted the checkpoint, which most games that is, but it just felt like it was really
Come meet
heavy
with me.
here. Like, oh, better get the stealth right, or you're gonna die forever. Like, I don't know. It just the consequences felt more heavy or something. I don't know.
Boss,
Yeah, no,
come meet with me.
it's a really astute analysis. I agree with you. I mean, would you say you even have a desire to keep playing?
Sadly, no. And I was really looking forward to this. And like maybe if I were to go back, and I was reading somewhere that there's for free currently there's like a 1 through 4 recap that you can play through for PlayStation 4.
Nice.
So maybe I'll go download that and like go through that just to figure out where I am, and then start this over from the beginning, because it's sort of, not to detract from what we're doing here, but it's sort of hard to play the game and listen to us have a conversation for me at the same time. So like while they're talking story, I'm also trying to listen to you to tell me like what the story is, and it's like, well, I can't really hear them, or if I hear them, I stop listening to you. So if I feel like maybe if I go back and like start from the top, fresh, with just this, you know, to listen to what's going on. I probably still won't understand it, but maybe I'll care a little bit more. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the way that this is designed, it's a lot of like set pieces that I feel like don't give a lot of characterization.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fair argument, and I think also that because this is more of a movie, or in the first hour and a half than it was anything else, it almost required complete silence and just watching, which is not the case for the show, but also just kind of this singular experience.
This base belongs to you now. Make Diamond Dogs the force it deserves. Like any organization, we need good people.
So do each of the iterations of Big Boss, you know, all the different snakes, do they all have
like any organization, we need good people.
Different
and
factions?
we need to make good use of
Like
them.
this guy's in Diamond Dog. You said one was on like something to do with foxes.
Yeah, there's a lot of animal motifs. Essentially, this Big Boss, who has the moniker Snake, he kind of worked for the good guys, he worked for the U.S. military, became disillusioned with a lot of corruption that was happening, and kind of shady secret organizations controlling why they were doing missions. So instead of being sort of the best of the best there, he went on to slowly form his own military groups that were going to help save the world. He ended up becoming corrupted, and then becomes the bad guy in the series from the Nintendo era games. Solid Snake is the character that we have been able to follow, who's his genetic son. Excuse me, turns out he has multiple sons, they're genetic sons. And kind of it's the same story over and again in the PS2 era, you know,
Boss, come in.
Son being the head of a
Boss?
really strong organization defeating his father. But there's a lot of these kind of ridiculous things.
Did you see what I just did?
Yeah, this is a fun sequence, and yeah, it's really ridiculous.
Snake.
I was glad to hear you enjoy a tiny moment. So.
I mean, okay. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I like the prologue. If the whole game had been like the prologue, like, bring it on, you know?
Yeah. Alright, so, give me, I need a score from you, from 0 to 100.
I'm probably gonna, so from 0 to 100, I would give this game a 30.
Boss, there's something I want to talk about.
30.
Concerns
Wow.
the running of Mother Base.
So,
Come meet with me.
Yeah?
That won't work on. I've had drug.
I was more generous than you are. I gave it a, I gave it a 60.
Yeah.
I also was disappointed, but I felt that there's still a lot of potential, and I wanted to hold out until I could really get to experience more of it. But yeah, I agree with you. The mechanics of this game, how long it was in development, and all the history of this, it just was disappointing that it wasn't more. But we both undershot it compared to Metacritic. Metacritic gave it a 95.
A 95?
Yeah, which is like, we're getting close to a perfect game. Levels there, which is, I don't know what to say, shocking.
Boss, have you lost your mind?
I love it, it's amazing.
That's fun.
Snake.
I like how they make you, like, restart when you kill the loop.
Yeah, no, it's adorable. My next question is it worth downloading? And I'll give you some information before you immediately answer that.
Yeah.
From the website howlongtobeat.com, in order to finish this game, to get to the main story, it would take you approximately 45 hours.
Boss, there's something I want to talk about. Concerns the running of Mother Base.
If you wanted to get through the main story and all of the extra content, it would take you 83 hours and 48 minutes. If you wanted to complete everything, you would have to play it for 160 hours. And with a download space of at least 25 megabytes, probably closer to 30, that's the time and physical cost sink for having this game.
Hang on a minute, boss. I'm not finished.
You know, if you're a fan of the Metal Gear series, if you had played all of them before and sort of understood what was going on more than I do, sure. You know.
Not finished yet.
Yeah.
I guess. For me, if you're a casual and you're only downloading this because it's a free game, and you know you want to give it a shot, I'd say worth the 20, 30 gigs. And the 45 hours? No. No. If they made the prologue a separate thing, I'd be like, download that shit, play it, and then be done with it.
Yeah. I wonder if you should go back and play Ground Zeroes. It's certainly a much more self-contained story, and it explains how to play the game. You might have enjoyed that experience a lot better.
This isn't the time.
Well,
That's enough. This isn't the time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's worth a download if you're a fan. If you're not a fan of the series, this is not where you jump into it. It absolutely is not. Go back and download or buy the box set for the one.
Like any organization, we need
that's where you need to start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hang on a minute, boss.
I'm confused by the reload. Just because in Overwatch, reload is square, and whenever I press square, I leap to the ground, and I start being stealthy.
You can adjust some of these controls and these control options.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just
yeah.
just being nitpicky
Yeah,
at
no, I
this
know.
point. I am honestly not even sure what I meant to be doing in this part of the game.
This part of the game is designed to get you to understand the mechanics of building these things up.
And we need to
They
make
give
good
you
use
the
of their
opportunity
talent.
to
Miller asked me to lay that out
fulcrum
for
down to enemies, which is essentially attaching a balloon to them when they go flying into the air and they come to the base and work with you. It's
This
one of the more
isn't the
silly
time.
aspects of this. It's also giving
That's
you a better
enough.
idea of the hand-to-hand combat.
This isn't
but,
the
you know,
time.
for them to be this late explaining these concepts, which would have been useful in the first mission, I find shocking.
Hang on a minute, boss. I'm not finished. That's enough. This isn't the
If I were designing this, I would have made this immediately follow the prologue. I would have had this entire sequence of how to do the fulcrum. I would have had a training mission that explained, here's how you do stealth, here's how you do this, and this, and this, and then jumped you into the first level. And then to jump you head first into that level without these kind of mechanics explained, it would be easy.
Yeah, like why did I know that, like, you know, what's Ocelot rescued you from the place? He could have just brought you here and then done this shit and then been like, by the way, we're gonna go rescue your dude.
Yeah. And you would have even had a better kind of thematic reason for you to do this. You would come here, found out that Cass is missing, seen everything in disrepair, and then go out and get him, and then have the experience of everyone cheering his return.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you come here and it's just bland. It's just welcome. I guess we're going standing around doing bullshit missions until you come. Yeah. So, if people wanted to follow us in the gaming world, PSN Sopranos, how do you do that?
That's enough.
So I'm Plastic Sofa on PlayStation Network.
And that's how it's spelled, is that how it sounds?
It's like caustic. C-A-U-S-T-I-C. And then sofa, the thing you
Start
sit on when
bringing
you play
people
video
in.
games.
Use this. It's a
And,
Fulton
I have
recovery device.
Paradox. That's odd spelling.
When you're in the field, use it to extract any soldiers or prisoners you want back here. We'll see if we can't persuade them to join the ranks of Diamond Dogs.
Like you
Test it out
have
on
a
the
pair
staff
of Doc
here.
Martens.
Anyone you want. Now
Yes,
approach
or
them
pair
and
of
extract them.
doctors.
Yes. Or a paradox, but spelled funny.
Yeah. And if you wanted to follow us in the social media world,
Instagram is probably the better place to find me. What the fuck? I'm Caustic Wear.
Recover someone if they're not.
yeah, that's your Fulton.
No dead bodies either. Make great recruits.
And you? Where are you on social media?
Mostly Twitter, though I'm kind of not using that very often. But you'll find me at Little on Twitter.
And,
Great, well,
Extracted will be assigned to the team best suited to his
what are we
ability.
playing next week?
See for
then?
yourself. Open your eyes.
Yeah. Next week we're going to be playing Q. One of
Select
the
staff management from the
crossplay
mother
games for
basement.
PS Vita, like a PS4. Definitely holding out on some of the more exciting
So that staff
downloadable
member
games
was
here.
placed on the
So I think,
R&D team.
thematically we'll
The
save some
R&D
scary
team is in
ones
charge of
for
developing all
people.
kinds of weapons and items that'll support you on missions.
Cool.
Take a look at the development list.
Well, great. Well, the
Select
two
weapons,
gamers have
items
spoken,
under the
and with the
development
credentials of one trophy, we proudly declare this game meh,
Yeah.
kind of worth downloading if you're a fan.
Yeah. True.
So, tune in next Friday. We'll be playing Q.
I've been Lauren.
I've been Tony, and
Come on.
I'm
ahead
going
and
to give you
select
the
the red
classic Metal Gear closing. When the character dies, they scream out your nickname, which, as I remember, was Caustic Soda.
That's
so here
the
we go.
R&D team's
Caustic
development
soda.
list. See
Caustic
the item
soda.
called cardboard box?
Caustic
Didn't seem much use to me, but
soda.
Miller was adamant that you'd